What's up, YouTube? It's the Action Figure Grader coming back to you with another video, and this time it's for the Vintage Collection. That's right, it's my weekly look at sales in the Vintage Collection. And what I'm noticing, at least right now, as of this week, there are a lot of really low sales prices for the Vintage Collection. And now's a good time to target auctions if you're trying to fill in your blank spots in your TVC 1.0 collection. And the vast majority of what I'm going to cover in today's video are TVC 1.0 from one particular auction. But this is just the tip of the iceberg because I've found a number of different auction lots that have sold here recently. And some of my friends and Patreon supporters have been buying in some of these auction lots, and they are getting stuff for 50, 60, 70% off of what the typical prices are for some of these items. And I don't know why that is. You would think that with the HasLab Ghost and the Ahsoka series and all the kind of hoopla that series has brought to the fan base, that a lot of these TVC 1.0 would start to kind of see an uptick in price. And next week, we're going to cover some vintage sales that certainly support that argument, that the Ahsoka series has driven up prices for especially the high grade and especially the rare. But for TVC 1.0, it's the opposite right now. I don't know why, but that's what it is. And I've talked enough, so let's dig in. And this is that particular auction that I guess fell underneath the radar. I can't explain some of these prices, but this was a Kithaba, the VC56 original issue, not the reissue, with the Darth Maul offer. Now, admittedly, this one was a punched example, and none of these, I would say, are perfect, right? There are some slight dings here and there, but the final sales prices, I don't think, justify the condition. I mean, to me, these prices are well below market, well below market. This one sold for $20, $20.49 plus $8 shipping. So that's $28 for an original issue brown bandana Kithaba on the US card. Admittedly, a punched example, but that is a really low price. And it seems like all of the items in this auction lot, for the most part, were well below market. Here was an unpunched Oromarco. We know how expensive this one typically is, and this card back looked to be in really good shape. Again, some light edge wear here and there, but VC 114 Oromarco unpunched, I'm used to $100 to $125. That's the kind of the going rate. This one sold in an auction for $56. That's about half price or less. So pretty incredible what some of these sold for. Here is Princess Leia in her Sandstorm outfit. Again, this was a punched example. But this deleted scene Blu-ray figure has been kind of creeping up, right? As VC64 Slave Leia has gotten pretty unattainable for most collectors. This is the one that was kind of going 78, then 88, then 98, then we saw 125. This one sold for $32. $32. So there are deals out there. Here's Colonel Kraken, another figure, and some of these others that we're getting ready to cover are figures that we don't cover very much just because I tend to kind of cover more exciting sales prices. But because this auction had so many good deals, I just wanted to show them. This one was a punched example, US card with the Darth Maul offer, another deleted scene Blu-ray figure. That one sold for $21.51. Here was the Battle Droid. This one, again, was a punched example, but that one sold for $11.61. That's less than what the reissue costs, right? MSRP for the reissue is $15 to $18, right? This one sold for $11.61, admittedly with $8 shipping, but you're talking less than $20 for a TVC 1.0 Battle Droid. Next up was an unpunched Aayla Secura. I mean, this one sold for $15.50. It's just unbelievable what some of these sales prices were. And this one looked really clean. I mean, this one did not really have any notable damage that I could find on the card back. Next up was Dr. Evanson, another Cantina patron that we don't cover that much, but man, he and I are kindred spirits. He has the same facial features as I do. It's like looking in the mirror is what it really is. This one sold for $33.89, maybe a little higher than some of these other sales, and that one actually surprised me. Given what Aayla Secura and some of those others have sold for, I wouldn't have been shocked if this one sold for $8, but Dr. Evanson did sell for $33.89. Here's another Cantina patron, unpunched example of Bomb Vinden, and this one had the Darth Maul offer and was the US card, again, unpunched in really great condition. That one sold for $19.82 plus $8 shipping. Here was Han Solo in his Bespin outfit. US card unpunched. That one sold for $11.61. I saw an AFA uncirculated 9.0 example sell for 10 times this price. It sold for $100. So just really shocking that these auctions fell under the radar. And I want to emphasize that this is not a one-off type of situation. This is not an outlier. I've found several different auction lots that all closed over the last 3 or 4 days where the prices were shocking. There was a TVC 1.0 VC 103 or 102 Ahsoka that sold for $86. $86. Here's Lumat. This one sold for $85. I mean, this one had been going for $125 to $140, and it was a beautiful unpunched example. $85 plus $8 shipping. Here was an unpunched ARC Trooper Commander with the Darth Maul offer sticker. This one did admittedly have a little ding by the VC54 on the back, but otherwise just some very, very light edgeware. I mean, these are all kind of 80 plus, 85 plus grade condition TVC 1.0. That one sold for $63. Here's Oddball, one that we cover very regularly on the channel that sells for $100 to $125. This one sold for $78. So it just seems like, based on these sales prices, that you want to really target auctions when you're searching on eBay for TVC 1.0 to fill out your collection. Here's Skeletor Nominor on the Expanded Universe card back. Again, a punched card with just some light edgeware all the way around. That one sold for $40.99. This one had been going $60 to $65, but again, that was a punched example with light wear. The Gungan Warrior is another one that very regularly sells for over $100, or at least it had. This was unpunched, and that one sold for $26.55. So maybe you guys in the comments below can share why you think TVC 1.0 especially has really dropped. Is it because of all the reissues and collectors are fed up with it and they are not willing to overpay for some of these TVC 1.0 with the thought that eventually the Vintage Collection and Hasbro, they're going to re-release these anyway? That's certainly a possibility. Obviously, VC64 Princess Leia in her slave outfit is a very desirable one. This was on the Revenge of the Jedi card back, and this was the retail release with the prototype Fett offer sticker. Beautiful unpunched card. Very, very light edgeware all the way around, but it's just not much edgeware at all. This is probably 85 grade condition. That one sold for $248.50, so that's maybe a little bit more in line, right, with some of the market values that we've seen, but this is kind of the outlier, right? This is certainly one of the most desirable TVC 1.0 figures, because most likely Hasbro's not going to reissue this one, right? In the current political environment, it just seems very unlikely that Slave Leia gets reissued, although I believe Bosk or somebody mentioned, Tim over at Boss Bounty mentioned that they did ask that question in a Hasbro live stream, and they said it's not out of the question. But to me, even with them saying that during a live stream, if memory serves, that I still think it's a highly unlikely scenario. But so anyway, this one continues to hold its value, $248.50 on that one. The Mandalorian N1 Starfighter pack-in. This one has come back down to earth, so to speak. This one had been going for $150, $130, somewhere in that ballpark. This one sold in an auction for $78, and that's kind of more in keeping. But now I'm going to cover some TVC that were graded. And I think the market is showing that if it's high grade, especially uncirculated high grade, whether it's TVC 1.0 or 2.0, there are still discerning collectors out there that are willing to pay it. And first off, we've got two items that were in my What to Buy video last week. The first being the Razor Crest pack-in of the Off-World Jawa Elder. And this one got the coveted uncirculated designation, uncirculated 95 from UKG. So obviously whoever submitted this for grading sent in the entire Razor Crest, and they opened the Razor Crest and took out the two pack-ins and had those graded. And I guess they sent back the Razor Crest opened when they sent these back. So a little surprised, though, that they didn't sell for more, quite honestly, because I can't believe there's a lot of uncirculated designation Razor Crest pack-in Jawas out there. But this one got the uncirculated 95 gold level from UKG, and it sold for 132 pounds, which is $163. Now, keep in mind that ungraded, with just this, Elder by itself mint on card, those usually sell $60 to $70. So you're still talking a little over 2 times market value because of that uncirculated designation. And then here's the Grogu from the same auction lot. This one was an uncirculated 90. That one got 134 pounds, which is 166 US dollars. Some AFA examples that sold over on this side of the pond. Here was the Darth Maul offer sticker Barris Offie TVC 1.0 uncirculated. And that one was an uncirculated 9.0 grade. That one sold for $86 plus $19 shipping. So about, let's call that a little over $100, which I thought was a pretty fair deal. Next up was the Weequay graded uncirculated 9.25 on the modern scale by AFA. Beautiful unpunched example. That one sold for $160. And again, ungraded, the Weequay has dropped in price a little bit, but it's easily $80 to $100 usually. So I don't think that price is terribly unfair. Next up was an unpunched original issue Neon Numb. This one was graded uncirculated 9.25 as well. That one sold also for $163.50. And the same seller had this one, an uncirculated 9.0 2.0 version of Salt Murray, obviously Yak Face. But, again, this was an uncirculated 9.5, which is about as high as you can possibly get with AFA. They very rarely hand out 9.75s or 10.0s. And this one did sell for $180, so about 10 times what this would go for ungraded. So a good example of where discerning collectors are willing to pay up for very, very high grade uncirculated designation, even for TVC 2.0. And then finally was a Republic Trooper on the Expanded Universe card. This was a TVC 1.0 graded 9.0. This was not uncirculated designated. And I was a little surprised because, as we've talked about in past videos, this one has been dropping like a rock, ungraded. Even in near mint plus condition, it went from $200 back down to about $100 or so, ungraded, but in near mint plus condition. This one was graded 9.0, not even with the uncirculated designation, and it still sold for $276. So that one kind of surprised me on the upper end of the scale, but I don't think any of these other prices surprised me other than on the low end of the scale. So let me know in the comments below what you think is going on with the vintage collection line. But to me, there are warning signs out there that TVC 1.0 in auctions are dropping like a rock, and you can get some really good deals out there. Thanks as always for watching, and I'll be back soon.